Okay, Apia, I received a request to do a video about behavior management from a couple of people asked me questions about behavior management. So let's talk about behavior management in your classrooms. The first and foremost idea about behavior management is that you must be prepared, you must be mentally prepared, you must be physically prepared, you must be intellectually prepared to give instruction every day that you're in the classroom. Okay, so behavior management is 100% in your court, in this side of the court. You have to be prepared for instruction. If you're not prepared, you're unprepared. Excuse me. You will have management issues in your classroom. You will have classroom management issues in your classroom. Your lesson for each day must be very well orchestrated. Those who took the TESOL course, we call it what? Smooth moves, right? It's a dance that starts right from the beginning of your class. And just like a good dance move, just like the dance moves, the dance routines of the 30s and 40s and 50s in America, it was big bands, and it was these well choreographed moves that both partners or teams of people knew how to do in order to complete the dance routine. And that's what your teaching is like. It's a smooth move. It's transitions without the student knowing that you're transitioning. Trying to decrease the number of pauses between any of your instruction. It should be one succinct movement. The student doesn't know when they're starting from the warmer, just going to modeling, going to vocabulary expansion. They don't know where they are as far as start to finish. All they know is that they're actively engaged and they're enjoying themselves. All right, and so the first part the first variable in classroom management is making sure that you are prepared, making sure that lesson plan, that you fully understand what you want to do in your lesson, that you're prepared, that you're not making copies during the class, that you're not fumbling around, you're not writing charts, that everything's prepared, that your laptop is ready to go. If you're doing something on PowerPoint, it's already up and running. All you have to do is press a button. Now, with that in mind, also understand when you're using technology, have a plan B. You must have a plan B because you can never rely on technology. All right, technology will always fail you, especially when you have a class full of kids. And it's the moment there is a pause in the dance move, in the smooth move, students will prompt on you. They will fill that time. Okay, they will fill that time with some type of fun activity. All right. The second thing is make sure in your lessons you personalize the lessons, that you contextualize the lessons towards the student's interest, the student's desires, the student's motivation, that you give context based on the student's experience. Okay? For example, if you're giving a lesson on north, south, east, and west, make sure in your lesson you allow them to contextualize that through their own eyes, meaning the classroom, their homes, the playground, Okay, things that they're familiar with, the grandmother's house, things that they are familiar with. Okay, not things that don't do New York City if they've never been to New York, or don't do London if they've never been to London. You would contextualize it based on the classroom and based on their own homes or neighborhoods. Okay, so when you personalize the lesson, what happens is you're getting the greatest number of students involved in the lesson and interested, because you are actually targeting something that they're familiar with. So when students are familiar with something, there's a higher probability that they're going to be engaged in it because they're familiar. Okay, so personalize the lesson. When you personalize the lesson, you also need to make sure that you know that they know something about the lesson, that you're building on something that they already know. Again, from the TESOL course, I+1. Okay, that you're building on something that they already know. If they don't have a point of reference, then you're going to have behavior management issues in your classroom. Okay, so build on something that they already know as a class. This means that you have to get to know your students. This time should be spent over this week, because this is the first week of school. You should be spending this time to get to know your students. Okay, this time should be dedicated in getting to know your students. Why? To build trust, to build to build friendly relationships. Also, so you can get great intel. Okay, military intelligence, the FBI, the CIA, the SAS, all these secretive organizations, they're very effective because they get great intelligence, because they plant people to befriend the people they're trying to get data and information from. Okay, it's called being spies, and you have to be a friendly spy. Look at the cat, nosy. You have to be a friendly spy. All right, and get as much information and data, not to hurt the students, but so you can personalize the lesson. So when you're creating your lesson plans, that you are speaking to the students directly. Okay, this is for all my administrators who are listening to this. This is why we don't do lesson plans off the textbook. Okay, the lesson plans off the textbook do not allow you to personalize lessons. Shame on you for those people who want to teach directly out of the book. Shame, shame, shame. We're asking for behavior management issues when we do this. Okay, no textbook teaching. We use the textbook as a resource. We use the textbooks have great activities. A lot of these textbooks are highly researched. However, that textbook writer, that content writer is probably not in Saudi Arabia. All right, that textbook writer for that English book is probably not Palestinian, probably not Jordanian, probably not Kuwaiti, probably not Filipino. Okay, probably doesn't live in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. Okay, probably doesn't speak Arabic. Okay, so this is why we get paid as teachers. We need to personalize the lesson based on what interests the students and the students' experience, and based on what they already know. And you won't find that out unless you do a couple of things. Unless you go and look at their student records from the previous year to figure out what they should already know. This is a hint for team teaching. Team teaching. This is an advantage of team teaching, is that you can talk to your team members from the lower grade, the grade below, and ask them what should they know as it relates to this unit. So there should be a lot of team meetings going on. Okay, the second grade reading teacher should be talking to the third grade reading teacher, because they should have had the second grade teacher would have had your students now if you're the third grade reading teacher. Same thing for math. Same thing for any subject. If you're not communicating with your teachers especially in your especially within your department, but even interdisciplinary or interdepartment team teaching is actually the best. Okay, so we'll talk about that later. Okay, but again, personalizing the lesson will allow you to have less classroom management issues. Now, let's talk really briefly, because I want to make this video brief. Let's talk about what do you do when a student is off task. Okay. Now, again, from the TESOL course, we look at the lesson plan, and there should be a section in our lesson plans that says teacher problems. Notice it says teacher problems, not student problems. Okay, and in that point, and in that section of your lesson plan, you're going to write all the issues, including classroom management issues, that may arise during that lesson. Okay, and it's not going to be Mansour's issue. It's not going to be Tom's issue. It's not going to be Sarah's issue. It's going to be Mr. Roberts' issue. Okay, so if Sarah likes talking in class, that's not Sarah's problem. Let me say that again. If Sarah likes talking in class, if Ahmed likes talking in class, that's not Sarah or Ahmed's problem. That's the teacher's problem. Okay? So you have to figure out what you're going to do to make sure Sarah or Ahmed is not talking in your class during the lesson. What are you not doing correctly? What haven't you done for Sarah? What intervention did you not put in place for Sarah or Ahmed? Okay? Because Sarah Ahmed has this thing called the amygdala that's asking, what's in it for me? What's in it for me? And you have to figure that out by getting to know your students. But in the case and in the event that Sarah and Ahmed gets off task, or is off task, what do? Here's what you do. You don't address Sarah or Ahmed. You address a student that is on task. Because what Sarah and Ahmed said, and what they're really saying is, listen to me. No one's dealing with me. No one's dealing with my issue. No one's talking about me. No one's personalizing this for me. What's in it for me? What is in it for me? No one's dealing with me. So when they're doing that, they're only doing what their brain is designed to do. So as the professional in the classroom, as the educator in the classroom, you cannot feed into that, because that's a losing battle. Because when they do that, they're actually fighting with you. When the amygdala is not happy, they do one of three things, or they can do a combination of three things. They can fight with you, they can run from you, or they can freeze. They can sleep on you or start playing with their cell phone or look other places. Okay? So what do you do when they fight with you? Meaning they're talking in class, they're pulling another kid's head. What do? You praise the student that is on task. The worst thing you can do is address that student. That's the worst thing you can do. Because now you have done what that student is actually do. So every single time that student wants attention, that student is going to be a behavior issue for you. Okay? Now, mind you, this is in conjunction with personalizing the lesson. If you know that you have a student that likes to talk in class, that means you need to really personalize the lesson. Really get that student engaged. Ahmed, I know you like WWE. Who's your favorite wrestler, Ahmed? Oh, John Cena. Well, what if John Cena had two chairs in his hand and he was about to hit King? You know, whatever the lesson is, right? All right. What you're doing is you're cutting it off in the past before it becomes an issue. Right in your warmer, or starting from the warmer. All right? All right? Remember TESOL class. What do you do for exercise? I run. All right? Who is your favorite WWE wrestler? Oh, Mr. Ray, it's John Cena. Why is John Cena your favorite? and you smoothly transition. Where they forget that they'll go from talking about John Cena to smoothly transitioning into your core lesson, your objectives. Okay? That's what makes you a professional. Saying, oh, Ahmed, sit down, Ahmed. I'm going to call your mother, Ahmed. That's what Ahmed wants. He wants that attention. You call your mother all you want. He knows, number one, you're probably not going to call the mother. And number two, mom's not going to do anything about it. Okay? So, sending kids out of class, this is what they want. Or you go tick for tat. You lower your standards and you go start going tick for tat with your student. Well, this is why you're not going to be anything, Ahmed. No. Remember yesterday, you have to be someone's champion. And we're not going to be champions by degrading students in the classroom because you didn't do your job correctly. Your job is to get Ahmed on task. And you do that by being prepared, by personalizing the lesson through great conceptualizing based on good intel from getting to know the student. If you shut up for a second and be quiet and let the students talk and let the students drive the lesson, you will get a lot of intel about the students. You will find out everything about the students. Keep your mouth shut. Be quiet. Shut up. Yes, I'm talking to you. Shut up. Reduce your teacher's talk. When I'm walking in the buildings of schools and I hear yakety, 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 yak from the teacher, the whole lesson, it sounds like Charlie Brown in class. And that's what your students hear. You have 20, 12, 30 students in their classroom and they're not given a chance to talk. Shut up! It will save you a headache. Reduce your teacher's talk. When the student's offline, praise the student. This week, you should be setting the rules for your classroom. Setting your system up. This is the time to do it now. Forget the lesson. Forget whatever's in the textbook right now. Set the rules in your classroom right now this week. And enforce those rules in a friendly manner. Smile. That fake smile works. That fake smile works. The rules should be small, low in number, maybe especially for the lower the grades, the fewer the rules. You don't need a lot of rules. No 20 rules, no 10 rules. 3 rules, 4 rules, maybe for bigger kids, 5 rules. And have the students tell you what those rules are. How about that? How about that? How about the students tell you what the rules are? They know what a good classroom looks like. They know what they need to learn. And don't enforce goofy rules. Students want to eat in class, let them eat in class, but make them responsible for the food. Have a rule in place so they can manage the food. Now, if this goes against your school policy, follow the school policy and call me and I'll talk to the school about why the students should be allowed to eat in class. Scientific, I'll give them research. I don't want you to fight that battle. So follow the school rules. Call me and I'll address it with the school ownership or why students should eat in class. But it would be up to you to manage that food. It'll be up to you because you're the educator. You're the boss. You're the big boss in the classroom. You're the lion in the classroom. That classroom is your domain. It's not the principals. It's not the parents. It's not the janitors. That is your classroom. My last tip is to make sure your classrooms have student work on a board. not the work that you drew, not the work that you, something that you bought from Jareer bookstore, or something that you got from the last time you went to the UK. Okay, maybe 1 or 2 pieces, but 90% of the things on your wall right now should be student driven, and they start this week. If you want to reduce classroom management issues in your classroom, put student work on the board. Make it a challenge. Have a board of excellence, a wall of excellence, where students want to compete with getting that work on the board, and watch how every student want to get that work on that board. You make that classroom a place to be proud in. Too often I go in these classrooms and it's filthy and it's dirty and it's nasty, and then you wonder why you have classroom management issues. Make sure that classroom is clean. And it's your responsibility to clean it, not the janitors. Your responsibility. I'm getting tired of going to these classrooms and they're filthy and they're dirty, and then you wonder why students don't learn. I'm not talking about everyone, but there's some people out there that keep a filthy, nasty classroom. And then you wonder why there's learning is not taking place, and you point the fingers at the principal, and you point the fingers at the owner, and you point the fingers at the student, and you point the fingers at everyone else instead of you. When you point the fingers, there are 3 other fingers pointing right back at you. 1, 2, 3. Every time you point the finger, you're the big dog in the classroom. That classroom is your domain. And just like any leader of any nation, of any household, of any community, you have to manage your subjects. You have to treat them fair. You have to have due process. And you have to have content that the students, that the people in your community believe in. And they must believe in you. If they see you coming late, if they see you drinking Coca-Cola in class, if they see you unprepared, do not ask them to be prepared. If you slacking on your macking, don't ask them to be prepared. Just give up the class and think, you know what? I'm not prepared today, so you know what? My bad. Maybe tomorrow when I can be a good example. All right. Video's gone a little bit longer than what I wanted to go. I just gave you some basic things you need to do. Make sure you're prepared. Make sure you're personalizing your lessons. Make sure when a student is off task that you are praising the students on task. Make sure your room is conducive for learning for students, motivating, put student work on the board. Okay, make sure that your lesson plans are smooth moves, personalizing the content. This is Ray Roberts. Have a wonderful day teaching. Be somebody's champion. We'll talk to you later.